Let me start by thanking all of you for taking some time to spend with us this afternoon. For those of you who are not familiar with Dr. Dworkin, Jim Dworkin is the Chancellor for Purdue North Central. And Jim and I have been working closely together since I came, but probably more closely in the last several months than we had worked previously. Jim started out as a faculty member in the Krannert School, teaching labor negotiations, and is a labor economist for those of you who are academics. Jim and I we found out after we'd been together for maybe a year and started talking, realized that we had met each other about 25 years ago and completely forgot all about it. But you know, Jim has done a wonderful job at North Central, and his time there has provided the Purdue system with a wonderful campus. And today we're here to talk very briefly about the possibility of us having one university with two locations. I'm going to start with a very short statement, and Jim is going to start with a short statement. But the primary reason for being here is to let you know that we have a task underway beginning today, and that we want you all to know that you are a big part of that task, and we will be looking to you for a lot of efforts in how this may all come together as we go forward. So starting that effort, we'll definitely want to give you an opportunity to ask questions. And I should tell you up front that a lot of the answers to your questions will probably be that we don't know yet, because it's something that you all will be working at going forward. But we have been given the task almost a year ago, and the three chancellors have been working with ways in which we could reduce administrative overhead in the Purdue system. And as part of these discussions about reducing overhead in the Purdue system, it became fairly clear to both of us that one easy way to do that would be to have one university administration with two campuses. We don't know at this point in time what the dollar savings will be, because I know that'll be a question. However, we do know this, and we have a commitment from the President and the Board of Trustees that whatever dollar savings we have, those dollars will be invested in students and faculty. Both of us felt strongly about that, and everyone agreed that if we're going to save money, it needed to be for an investment in continued quality of Purdue programs in Northwest Indiana. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Dworkin. Jim.
Thank you. Well, Tom, thank you very much for the nice introduction, and it's always nice to be back on the Calumet campus. I know a lot of people here, so it's not too strange for me. I've been on a couple of the search committees here, and so it's really nice to be back. I think that Tom summarized pretty much what we're trying to do. The way I tend to tell people is we're trying to do anything that is good for students. We're trying to make this work so we have better things happen for our students. And if that involves cutting out some administrative roles and having more money to spend for more faculty members or more money to spend for things like student access and success, so be it. I think that's all to the good. And so, like Tom said, we've been thinking about this for probably over a year. And so today is the rollout of this idea. And we've had a bunch of questions all morning. You know, I've been asked things about how about the mascots, I really hadn't given a lot of thought to that. You guys are the peregrines, right? I know, I brought Carol Connolly, raise your hand, Carol. Carol's from the Purdue North Central campus. I was telling her, I'm a labor economist. I do studies on baseball players and athletes, and I told her that every time I see the peregrines, I remember the most provocative title ever for a research study. It wasn't one that I wrote. It was Are Baseball's Free Agents Perspicacious Peregrinators? So how's that? Anyway, so basically, I would say that we should take your questions, ready for any questions. And so probably, we've been rotating, maybe he'll take one, and then I'll take one, and we can go from there. Please. What are we taking? The answer right now is to be determined. I can definitely tell you that as we move somewhere into the future, there'll be one chancellor and probably the highest level administrative positions. There's a lot of other areas where I think there's good possibility for cooperation as well, but like Chancellor Keon said, we'll have many discussions and opportunities to think about this, and so for now, we're just proposing the plan, and we've been given the charge by the trustees to come back and give them a more detailed plan, answers to questions like how much we'll save. It's a good question you ask, how far down the food chain. We'll probably be able to speak more about that in several months after we get the plan.
What's the timeline?
When we started thinking about this, we realized that it's difficult to pin down a timeline. We're hoping, however, in announcing this, that we can start discussions on some issues fairly quickly, and some things might move fairly quickly. I'll give you one of the exciting opportunities that could confront us very quickly. We could have one telephone system, for example, which really would not interfere greatly with anybody's day-to-day activities, but it would save us from having two telephone processes on each campus. There are other things that could take significantly longer. Certainly, as we start thinking about integrating academic programs and jointly admitting students into what might be this new one university, two campuses, it certainly would take 15 to 18 months. So it will take a period of time, and it'll take a lot of input and discussion.
Okay, please, tell me your name, please. I don't know too many people over here.
Deborah.
Deborah?
The cost savings back to faculty and students, is that for this region, or will it be absorbed into the new system to be redistributed?
No, that's a really good question there, Deborah. I think it's 100% clear that the funds will be for this project and nothing will go towards Purdue Fort Wayne or Purdue and West Lafayette. So we'll definitely capture those savings, and like Chancellor Keon said, it'll go back into new faculty lines and maybe used for student access to success type of projects as well.
I have a question about the academic side of this and faculty processes, faculty governance, tenure, that whole part of the process. Is that going to be left alone, or it doesn't seem like it could be left alone?
This is one of those areas where, we certainly haven't been anointed to make decisions like that. In our discussions, it's our hope that the faculties will unite, that, there'll be a faculty senate. Everybody is really tenured into Purdue generally. So the faculty that are tenured on both campuses would be tenured into a new campus, but there's a lot of detail associated with that. And we're very well aware of this. Most of you probably wouldn't know this, but Chancellor Dworkin and I have been working with the economists on both campuses to put together a joint economics degree. what we realized is that we had a small group of economics students, and North Central had a small group of economics students. So our economics faculty have been working together for the last 2 months on a joint program so that as combined, there are truly enough economics students to make a viable economics major. That effort has taken quite a while. It's not near complete, and there's still more details to be worked out with that degree program. But if that's an illustration of just one simple group of 4 economists and one program, we have a long way to go.
And I just might add on that it's, on the academic side, things get a lot more complicated. I mean, if we say we want to, eventually have one chancellor, basically, as long as the trustees say that's okay, we can do that. But on the academic side, you have the Higher Learning Commission, and you have the Indiana Commission for Higher Education. You have all these separate accrediting agencies, and we have some different accrediting than you do, and different programs. So it's a really good question. Yes, sir.
Can you tell me where the push for this initiated?
Push. Well, Tom was over here pushing me like crazy. So, no, we've actually been talking about this for quite a while. And like he said, he gave all of the economics program. There's also a DNP, Doctor of Nursing Practice. We've been working with Audine Fentiman from West Lafayette, like Tom said, with the 3 different chancellors, including Vicki Carwine from Fort Wayne for about a year. And as we have thought more and more about this, we pretty much came to the conclusion that there were some good ideas. And so we presented some ideas to the board. I had met separately with Mitch Daniels, Tom had met separately, and we'd also met with them together. And then just last week, we had this document, and we were able to present it to the Board of Trustees. So I would say the idea comes from the 2 of us, but with some help from other people along the way in thinking.
Are you going to have faculty representatives in deciding how you're going to combine universities?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you picked a name for the new university?
Go ahead.
That's one of the ways we hope to get faculty and students involved. It will be Purdue University.
So we'll certainly have 2 separate campuses. I mean, there was never any talk or any discussion about closing one of the campuses. So we'll have the Calumet campus and we'll have the North Central campus, but the name of the bigger entity is yet to be determined, and we'll definitely have a lot of discussion on that. Should be interesting.
So does those still feel like 2 universities?
No.
The question, will it still feel like 2 universities? Probably the answer to that is no. It'd feel like 1 university with 2 campuses. And there's a lot of questions about graduations. I mean, you go on down the line. I've been thinking about a lot of these things, and there's many things yet to be resolved. Yes, sir.
When you met with President Daniels, what were the things that he said about this unification?
You want to? I can if you want. Go ahead.
He said, looks good.
Yeah, he said go full speed ahead. I mean, my experience working with him, I won't go into a lot of detail on some of the issues I'm working on, but if you have a good idea and it's got something to do with efficiency, he'll say it looks good and full speed ahead.
With this one university, 2 campuses, will students be able to take classes at both universities or both campuses?
We expect that will be the case. It's likely that, and I'm just shooting from the hip here, but it's likely that there are some programs that people would have to finish on one campus or the other. So right now, for example, they have 4 degree programs that we do not have. So it may be that if you want to go from this campus to finish a degree program on their campus, that you might have to take 5 courses there, or that's a possibility. It's not likely that we'll be able to have every degree on every campus unless we use some distant learning options. But again, that's all up for discussion. But more likely, people would, in some instances, have to go to one campus or the other. Additionally, other than those 4 that they have that we don't, all the rest they already have. so people could finish them on either campus.
And vice versa, this campus here has a bunch of programs that we don't have, and so I think this will work out nicely for students. On the, also on that topic, on the phone call we had earlier, somebody asked me about Purdue North Central's Porter County campus. We have a 10-acre campus in Porter County, and we use that mostly for the MBA program, but I don't know what your number is, but you probably have hundreds of students coming from Porter County, and so that'd be a good opportunity to maybe think about some sharing of classes over there. And we have a lot of people who live in Valparaiso who can take courses over there and don't have to drive all the way to the campus. Yep.
What's the next step in the planning process? Is there going to be a group convened, or is there already a group that's going to be convened?
Well, we basically know that sometime later this year, we have to make a presentation to the Board of Trustees. By later, I mean, it's not, the next Board of Trustees meeting is in April at the PNC campus. We can't be ready by then, so I'm thinking probably in the fall. So what the Chancellor and I have to do is get together and think about the structure, different committee structure, different people we want to get involved and go at it. And I think we'll probably try to flesh that out the next couple of weeks and get started on this pretty soon.
I was wondering about not just the faculty retention, but also how they're organized into departments. Is there going to be one department for history over both campuses, that sort of thing?
That's again one of those questions that we don't have a definitive answer for. However, if we fully integrate, there should be one college for each campus, one set of department heads for each campus. If that's the direction that we plan to, or you plan to bring us.
Yes. We'll go over here first. Go ahead.
On our campus, we have some high-level searches going on right now for VCs and for assistant VCs. Will those continue?
I think I should let your Chancellor answer them.
We have some searches on campus, and it's probably likely that some will continue. However, there may be some where we may get together and talk to individuals that could be qualified for those positions and ask them about their interest and maybe go through some opportunities of sharing. There clearly are probably positions on both campuses where people would want to be retained for this new university, but they may end up on one campus or the other.
In the red. Well, that's an area that, again, I don't have a definitive answer for you, but I think the answer is definitely we'll be working on that. I mean, I think IT is one area where we can actually have some good synergies and some good areas of cooperation. And I think maybe there may be some cooperation in the teaching technologies area, things like that. But yeah, that is an area that I think we're definitely going to have some discussion on. You may want to add something else to that.
Definitely technology will be used significantly across the campuses on the administrative side. What happens on the side that has to do with courses and programs is really the ownership of the faculty, and they'll have to make those decisions. But we both have two beautiful campuses. They're very different. Our beautiful campus is in the middle of a city, and their beautiful campus is on the side of a hill, basically in the countryside. And the intention is not to turn us into an online university. We have beautiful facilities. North Central is in the midst of building a new building. Both of those facilities are in lovely areas. And so although technology will be encouraged to enhance the opportunities for our students, it's not the total direction that we're going in.
Yes, sir.
To what extent are schools are they able to send some maybe early?
Yes, I think it's urgent and very important that we get students involved in this along the way. In fact, I don't know if you're doing that here, but I encourage all students to come to the seminar or the forum like this we're having at PNC this afternoon at 3:30, and I'm going to hold a separate forum tomorrow at 11:30 just for students, just to talk to them about what's happening. One way to think about it, if you, there's a lot of buzz around, there's a lot of uncertainty, it's pretty normal. You know, people who look at markets like certainty. So when there's certainty, things are calm. Whenever there's uncertainty, you see the stock market take these wild swings. And so right now, there's a lot of uncertainty, and so there's some churning. That's why people have all these questions. But I think, especially at our campus, on yours as well, we've been through so many changes and things over time. I view this as one new opportunity for another change that can make us even better and lead to better educational possibilities for many students in Northwest Indiana.
And before I take another question, I'm going to just add to that briefly, since he brought up kind of a business perspective on this. Although there's always concern with uncertainty, it's the uncertain investments that give the biggest returns.
Thank you. I got a two-part question. I've heard across the media. And first of all, I want to say I visit with some of the outstanding faculty members here. And my question is, they were kind of surprised that they didn't receive notice today, and we got a press release at 8 a.m. Is that part of the strategy?
Well, I wouldn't say that it was part of the strategy other than we just learned about it ourselves, and so now we're sharing it with the university community.
So it's full speed ahead from here then?
Yeah, I mean, we met with the Board of Trustees on Thursday, and we were told on Monday that we should think about how to share this information with the community and with our faculty and students.
Okay, and my second question, at this time, what message would you like to send to students?
I think the message I would like to send to students is that, you know, our intention, and this is something that Jim and I have spent a lot of time talking about. If this is going to be done, you know, it has to be done for students, not only the current students, but future students. And both of us feel very, very strongly that we're giving Purdue degrees in Northwest Indiana, and we want to make sure we have academically excellent programs, which is why we decided that if there are savings, it would be put back into faculty and students and programs.
Yeah, and as I said in my little quote in the press release, our primary concern should always be and will always be students, and I think that's what this is all about. Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, you've asked another one of those questions that I'd say stay tuned. I think we need to have a lot of discussion on that from the faculty, and I think eventually we'll come up with the best decisions. But I mean, I could speculate what I think might happen or what I think should happen, but it's really not up to me. It's up to the people that are actually doing the teaching, what would be the best way to make this work out. I think I saw a lady back there. Yes, ma'am.
Again, that's an area of discussion. We don't have any answers on that at all. Certainly, we'll be bringing our student athletes together and our coaches together, and you know, we'll be looking to what their thoughts are in terms of, you know, how we might combine or how we might take savings and expand. There are 200 athletes on our campus, and I believe about 100 athletes on their campus. So, we certainly wouldn't want to lose 100 students by combining the two into 200. So, we're going to have to look at, what options are there. We always have room for more women's athletics, I know that. So that could be an option. But, we're quite a ways away from that. You can expect that, next year we'll be playing one another on both campuses as usual. But at the meantime, talking to one another about how to make that one aspect unique and valuable for the students on both campuses. As our athletic director likes to say, there's 12 sports but one team. So when we come out of this, we still want to have one team. We just don't know what that will look like.
Yes, sir.
So, I wondering about what role would the Board of Trustees in Purdue have in contributing to how you might work out what you haven't outlined, and what changes might they be able to make to the plan?
Well, point number one, the Board of Trustees are the ultimate authority, so they approve what we are going to do. But I must say that when we had the meeting with them the other day, it was very well received. I mean, we got lots of kudos, and so it was like full speed ahead, sort of the answer to the question the gentleman had down there. So anything we would come up with as a plan, we would present to the Board of Trustees, and they would ask us questions, and eventually they would approve what we come up with. But it's, going back to the previous thing, we've heard questions about athletics and also about academics. So when we talked to the trustees, we had a list of different ideas, but we also had a list of some of the issues that we thought were going to take the most time to resolve. And you've asked a lot of good questions, because athletics is right at the top of the list, and the academic thing that the one guy asked about was right at the top of the list as well. So the Board of Trustees are the ultimate authority on this, and so I guess if they don't like what we're doing, they tell us to change it. But so far, we've had pretty good signs.
Given that this is going to impact both of our campuses pretty heavily, is there going to be a move toward reevaluating strategic plans of both campuses?
Well, I would guess that, if we're moving forward with some form of merger, then it would be very important for us to have a new strategic plan to guide what that new university would look like.
And I would agree. I think we need to, in this process, think about some things that we can reasonably achieve and put that in the strategic plan and then go after it and do it. Yes?
Yes, how will the student information system be integrated? Will we have two independent, or will it merge them together?
You go ahead and take that.
Yeah. While we don't know the answer to that question, if we are thinking about how to save administratively, it seems to me that one software and one platform and one team working on that would make the most sense.
So you can be sure that that'll be one of the things that we'll be starting to work on pretty soon. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Might the course requirements for my degree change?
Not based on this. I mean, he wanted to know if the course requirements for his degree would change. What is your degree in?
English.
English teaching. Nope.
Or any of them?
No. I mean, basically, both campuses have gone through that. I know we've recently gone through the process of getting most of our degrees down to the 120-hour level. You've probably done the same thing. And so that's a faculty decision. So probably, if the faculty decides to change, it might change. But within that structure, you'd probably still have 120 hours.
I've been involved with a number of different curriculum changes over time, and what generally the faculty like and the students is that if someone is in an existing program, that they are able to complete their degree in that existing program, assuming they don't change programs. So I'm sure that if we unite as a faculty, there will be some thoughts about what programs should look like, but it should only be impacting students who are newly entering the university.
Any other questions? It's like a county council meeting, I have to say it 3 times. Any other questions? Any other questions? Well, I should let Chancellor Keehan close us out on his own campus.
Well, let me thank you all for coming, and let me reassure that, this is absolutely the first step. This is the first, public information. It is very new to both Jim and I, and we wanted to get this information to you as soon as possible. And both of us look forward to working with all of you from all parts of the university in making this merger of 2 strong partners into an excellent university. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Good work. Thank you.